Hey guys, welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subscribed. If you're not, hit the button. If you're listening on YouTube, hit that like. It's like walking in the room, hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this beautifully honest reaction. I just want to start off by saying this. All of these things that are coming out about Larry Reid, my thing with what I am talking about and the point that I am trying to get to, it's not to try to destroy him or to tear him down or to finish him or whatever. Because ultimately, I feel like if those things are going to happen to him, it's going to be by his own actions. It's not going to be by anything that I say or anything that anyone really exposes about him. Because unfortunately, we live in a very dark world. And I mean, just look at the way things are right now. We have someone that may be the president again that has so many things racked up against him in the courts of law, and he's just going around like it doesn't even exist. It's like it never happened, and a lot of people are still supporting him. So that just goes to show that times that we really are living in and the world that we live in is just extremely dark. So people like Larry Reid, not to compare him to Trump because he definitely is not as powerful as he is, but I'm just basically saying people like him that are, in my opinion, dark and that grow from that darkness and have a lot of support behind them, it goes to show you that they just kind of keep going. But ultimately, I believe that something will transpire in these people's lives that will ultimately be the answer to all of the things that they have put out there. So listen. When it comes to Larry Reid, my main issue with him, because I don't have an issue with someone that says that they're gay. If you're honest, then be that. But him saying he doesn't believe in labels and you're doing pretty much everything that a gay man does, but then you don't want to call yourself gay. I believe people like that, they have more to hide and that they're trying to cover up, my personal opinion. And it's about the honesty for me. And two, to call himself a leader, especially one in a spiritual aspect and claiming to have a church, now an online church, used to have a brick and mortar church. And I heard some things about him with that. But I'm not here to go down that rabbit hole right now. But just to say that someone being the leader of a church at one point in time, having sexual relations with a younger person in that ministry, in that congregation, whether the person was not underage is not my issue, because the fact that you're just saying, well, the age was this at the time or whatever, he should not even, I'm saying you like I'm speaking directly to him. Listen, he should not even be having any type of sexual relations with anyone in his congregation. Of course, I'm not here to say that he's the only one that's ever done that. Unfortunately, we know that there's a lot of people that don't have integrity who have had churches that have done things like this. But for him to get the type of support that he continues to get from primarily women, I don't think that there are really any straight men, just being honest, that follow him and support him, especially financially. So to know that this person, whether you don't believe that the person, Levontre, was underage at the time, and Larry Reid has said, well, he was not underage. Well, you were supposed to be the person who was the leader of this church that he and his mom and brother were going to, and then you were doing things that are inappropriate with this person. You don't have integrity, and honestly, you're disgusting. So you're much older than, like, where's the integrity? Where is the not wanting to walk in darkness and in deception, but claiming to be teaching about a holy God? You know, I don't get that. I don't get the correlation, and I don't get why people continuously support, especially financially. But basically, I want to play a little bit of him speaking to this content creator that he called in to speak to on that person's YouTube channel. And he's basically saying he doesn't care what anybody thinks because he's still going to be making his money. He still has people that are blindly supporting him. I am adding the blindly supporting him or choosing to be blind. And it just goes to show why people like this is like weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. It's like you hit and hit and hit and hit, but they just keep going. It's like ridiculous that people still support this disgusting creature and doesn't even have honesty enough to label himself in a way, but is doing all of these things that are defined as things that gay men do, but you don't want to be called gay because you're different or you think you're above that or whatever you're trying to come up with to justify what you're doing. And not even just that, like, you're a freaking whore. I mean, in my opinion, who would want to have a spiritual leader like that? Well, he's like, well, I'm single and I can do whatever I want to do. But I thought the Bible said the one that you use or he uses talks about those who are in positions of leadership and authority in a church leadership capacity, not living a life like that, you know? So that's why I feel my personal opinion is he uses this church thing that he claims to have as a way to get money from supporters tax-free. That's my personal opinion because it's not an income, because there's a misconception when it comes to people who are preachers. When they are getting an income in the church, that income is taxable. But donations to the ministry are not taxable. So this way, Larry does it this way. He gets all of these people donating money to his Reformation Church or Indian network or whatever. That money he can take in and not have to pay taxes on it. He's not the only one that's done stuff like that, but I'm just basically saying the integrity isn't there. I'm not saying anyone enjoys paying taxes, but you're doing things in a way to evade taxes, in my personal opinion. So don't sit out here and talk about Tasha K and other people in situations because you got your own stuff going on that I believe just has not been investigated. And I don't know if the IRS sees him as important enough to investigate it because it's not like anyone has taken him to court in a big way to call into question his finances. But I digress. I want to go ahead and get into this clip of him speaking and pretty much defiantly saying that, yeah, I'm doing what I'm doing and nothing that anyone says about me is going to stop me from doing what I'm doing and for the idiots to stop supporting me.
Oh, you knew. So we had talked, me and you, and I said, I think that's when I told you that me and Vincent have had sexual dealings. I maybe didn't even tell you. Because if it's my business, I tell it. But if it involves you, I ain't going to tell that. I mean, I'm going to take that to my grave. And I just couldn't believe that he told it, and I didn't understand why. I said, so what was the point? What was the point of that? So then, but that at that moment, I think that was maybe 19, is when I realized, okay, so here we go. I always knew what Vincent was disgruntled about and what he wanted from me that I couldn't give him. I knew about that on a personal level. As far as a relationship, I could never give him that. I can't give that to anybody, married or not. Now, for those of you to give perspective, because y'all saying cheating on Lisa. It's not the case. Me and Lisa, our relationship was on and off again for 18 years. On and off again for about more than half of our relationship. It was just tumultuous. But to say that I'm in a relationship with somebody, a sexual relationship, and it's been shot like it's something like a mistress or a mister on the side of my wife at the time, that is 100% inaccurate. It's just not truth. It's wrong. It's a misrepresentation. Now, I want you to think about anybody you messed around with more than one time coming out and telling the world y'all were in a sexual relationship. It don't make no sense. I mean, if I'm in a sexual agreement relationship with you and it's me and you and it's maybe even emotional, the way it sounds to me, it's been shot as something that is not, and it's not that. Which later on, I'm going to explain in detail. I guess if I'm asked, I see when I got to do an interview. I don't know what they're going to ask. And
I want to pause it right there. Listen, I know that there have been scandals upon scandals by a number of people that are in ministries, they're pastors of churches, leaders, whatever, over the years, all across the world, not just the United States, all across the world. More so, it seems like in the United States, but that's just because of the news that I'm privy to. But there are so many churches. There honestly are a lot of churches where people are not living like, it's just whatever, living wild and loose like Larry Reid. My question is, why would people want to be underneath someone who's supposed to be the leader of the ministry that they choose to attend to get teachings from and whatever? Why would they want to be under someone who is living a lifestyle like this? Where they all, like, honestly, the things that I hear, not that I follow him, but when I hear him talk, it's most of the time he's just talking about sex. To me, that is indicative of the lifestyle that he lives. What other church do you know of where they have a leader where this leader, you're always hearing about them, who they're sleeping with or who they haven't slept with, and they actually are talking about sex themselves. Now, I know we've heard about Jamal Bryant and him sleeping around and the multiple children he's had on his wife at the time and even after not being with the wife anymore, and just a lot we've heard. But we never hear Jamal Bryant sitting down talking about keep your hoes happy, talking about the things that we've heard clips of Larry Reid saying things about sticking it in this and putting it in that. Like, it's disgusting in my personal opinion. I would not want to be attending, whether it's online or in person, anyone's church that is supposed to be the leader of it, where you're constantly hearing this person talking about their sex life, or having to come out and swing against these rumors and allegations about who they've slept with. That to me just shows that you're really not a man or woman, if it's a woman, of integrity that I need to be getting taught from. That's just my personal opinion. And that's one of the questions that I have about people that continue to support this foolishness and say, I love you, I'm going to continue to support you. Well, go ahead and foolishly get whatever they're putting out into your system, into your spirit, and you foolishly giving your money to them so they can live whatever type of lifestyle that they want to live. Go ahead and do it.
But I don't never tell people you can't ask me nothing. So I got to fly to LA for the interview. So I'm pretty sure they're going to ask me. But that's the truth. And to anybody else that's saying anything else or taking whatever Vincent's saying, that's fine. Take what Vincent, like I told Craig, you can support your friend. But just make sure that whatever you repeat that your friend is saying, that you can stand with that, because there's this narrative that's been shot that there's a misappropriation of funds and all this kind of stuff. Well, that is illegal, and that is a problem. My lawyers did see it, and they are highly upset.
Lies. And here's what I mean by that. Your lawyers could care less. The only thing they know is what you bring to them. And they will let you know whether you have a cause of action or not. And they'll ask you, what would you like to do with this? They're not taking that stuff personally, because as long as you got the money to pay the retainer or the hourly fees, however they're charging you, it's up to you what you want to do if you have a case. So him acting like his lawyers are so offended by what was said and they were highly upset, but that's a lie. These attorneys could care less. As long as you got the money and you're paying, then they ain't staying in their office. They will do what they need to do to get those papers filed, which most of that's done online these days. And if it means going to the courthouse, then you're paying a higher hourly rate for that, because most of the time they don't want to go to court. They would rather settle out of court. If you have to go to court, it's more money. So him acting like his attorneys are so offended, the only way I could see them taking it personally is if he's sleeping with the lawyers and the lawyers are, offended personally because this is my man that they're talking about. And I'm just saying that's the only way I could see an attorney of his taking this so personal. It's not personal for them. It's business. So him saying it in that way, that's what I'm saying is the lie. I'm not saying that he didn't present it to his attorneys to ask, okay, what can I do with this? And they say, you have a cause of action. Let us know how you want to proceed. But they're not taking this stuff personally. It's clearly, they don't. Attorneys, it just doesn't work that way.
Anybody on this YouTube that's saying that, unless I just decide, look, y'all leave them alone, you're going to be sued. And you're not going to be sued for defamation only. You're getting sued for something called interference. And I have not sued anybody and not won. So just stop that. And that's all I want. Somebody say semantics, but at least you're finally trying to be honest. I don't have an honest problem. I'm private and confidential, and that was nobody's business. And Lisa probably going to be upset that she said, don't share that because that ain't nobody's business. It's not. It's nobody's business. That's between me and Lisa and Vincent. And Vincent should have never came out public. He could have texted and called me and Lisa to have a conversation. And then she could have shared with him what she already knew. But he done it like this to be malicious. I mean, he mad at me, mad as hell. And I can't blame him because life is hard. And I made his life very easy. And now that's gone. And that's just it. So this whole Larry not honest, man, you don't know me. You don't follow my platform. I am the most honest person on the face of the earth. As far as I've met. So,
the most honest person on the face of the earth. Anybody that speaks like that already lets you know that they are not. Because to say that I'm the most honest person on the earth, think about Donald Trump. He speaks in terms like that. And usually when he speaks in terms like that, it is the opposite of what it actually is. Like when he says things like your favorite president, everyone's favorite president, out of all of the 46 presidents, out of all of the 46 presidents that we've had, he alone is the favorite. I'm just using that as an example to basically say people who speak in terms like that, I'm the most honest person. Nobody loves anyone more than I love. But you are one person in a sea of how many billions of people on the earth, and you mean to tell me that you're the most honest person? That alone is huge gaslighting.
That's not the case. You just want none of your damn business. And it should have been nobody's business, but he wanted to, I guess, injure me. It was a failed attempt. It actually is making my community stronger and every relationship in my life stronger. I didn't even know I was this loved. I really didn't know. I mean, I did not. Listen, there's one woman that sent me $10,000.
Did you hear that? Now, listen, I don't know if that's true or not, and I don't need him to show us the receipts to believe it, because on one hand, I do believe it, and on another hand, I don't. And what I mean by that is this. He either did have some silly, foolish woman, like the Bible calls them silly women, who actually sent him $10,000 in support, or he is getting the people sending him money, but he wants someone to do something like that. And sometimes it's like just to use churches, for example, some churches, they will say things like that to get people pumped up, to showcase that, look, other people are giving that amount. And so it puts the emotional urge and the FOMO, the fear of missing out, on other people to say, oh, well, I don't want to miss my blessing, so let me get my money up and send it too. So like I said, some silly woman either did send him that amount of money, or he's hopeful that someone will. So him putting that out there will conjure up some other silly or foolish woman to do the same, or to not to even to do the same, but to actually do it when no one actually did. He's just saying that someone did do that. But listen, I'm not going to play anymore. I'm going to put the full video link in the description box if you want to check it out. But I just think it was absolutely ridiculous. And I am not surprised. He's saying that he is getting more support by the day. Again, he's saying that. If he is, whatever. If he isn't, good. But people like this, they don't tend to just say, you know what, I retreat, I surrender. No, it makes them even more emboldened to live the way that they have been living, and to say F you to everybody that's coming out that was maybe victimized or hurt or duped or misled or whatever in some way by him. And so I just really want to know what you guys think about this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and I'm going to say bye.